Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Yankees lay another egg against an inferior team, drop 2 out of 3 against the St. Louis Cardinals, and in the final game, get their doors absolutely blown off. The bullpen absolutely killed there in a 14-7, just an absolute embarrassment. And is coming at the backdrop as the Yankees expand the rosters for September 1st, and fans not getting what they expected. So no Jason Dominguez, but you get Duke Ellis. So you're excited about that. Not a good day for the Yankees. Now, we do get some familiar faces back. Anthony Rizzo does join the team, so a lot of roster moves. So we'll get into the whole thing. But before we get started, we got a whole month left. Again, Yankees still, one game over the Baltimore Orioles, and it's going to be a dogfight probably for the rest of September there. A lot of good stuff coming up, so make sure you podcast, subscribe, and of course, before you know, we'll be in the playoffs. And go over to YouTube, Section 420 Talkin Yankees. Go there, search it, subscribe there as well, and get notified when new episodes come up. And again, I've been preaching this over long, sound like a broken record, but Yankees are at almost the tail end of a very soft part of the schedule, and they have not taken advantage of it at all. Again, teams like the White Sox, Detroit, you take 2 out of 3 against the White Sox, but why can't you sweep them? Everyone was beating the White Sox at that point. You drop that. You take 2 out of 3 against Colorado. Again, this is a team that is just as bad. The White Sox, the best you could do was 2 out of 3 there. Another, disappointing situation there. And then, of course, you get the St. Louis Cardinals come in, bat a game or 2 under 500. What do you do? They lay another egg, lose 2 out of 3 at home. Again, a team that have no business losing to. So again, just the Yankees, continue that trend of playing down to their competition. And it's a little bit worrisome. Of course, you want to sort of round yourself into the playoffs here. You want to get a little confidence. You want to be kind of playing at your best. You're about a couple of weeks away before we'll be into postseason there, and you're still, again, kind of stumbling through and losing series that you should not be losing there. So I guess first we'll get into the roster. As we kind of mentioned before, expands to 28 players as per the new rules there, September 1st. Now, we expected that it would be Jason Dominguez and at least one pitcher there. Again, you can only carry a maximum of 14 pitches there, but it turns out there was no Jason Dominguez. Instead, we got Duke Ellis. Now, they picked him up from the waivers off of the Seattle Mariners about a week ago, and it's like one of those moves I didn't bother mentioning. I know it happened, and even the latest YouTube, it was before even the latest YouTube episode. Again, it's just one of those guys, never even heard of him. Just some of a minor move, like a low-key move, but they ended up bringing this guy up over Jason Dominguez. Now, again, the script isn't written on Jason Dominguez yet, so, and then Boone mentioned that it's still open to bringing him up at some point at September, and there's really no rush for him. Again, he came up during the Little League game, and that was in August, so he qualifies to be brought up and, be on the postseason roster. So it's not really a big deal if he's on here September 1st or if it's September 10th. It's not really that big of a deal. But again, you kind of wanted him up here, just get a full month under his belt there. Now there's some word that it has to really do with his rookie at-bats there, where if he has less than 135 at-bats in terms of his rookie contract and he does well for some reason, the Yankees get an extra draft pick at the end of the 2025 season. So there's some business that they're doing with this. They probably want to limit his amount of at-bats there in the month, just being strategic about it. But also with that in mind, Boone said that when they do bring up here, they don't want him to be a guy that's going to be kind of just on and off the bench there once in a while, or playing just once a week or twice a week. If they bring up Jason Dominguez here, they want a situation where he's going to be playing almost every day and contributing. So I could kind of understand that. So again, a lot to do with the roster. I mean, I obviously want to kill the team just for having a bad weekend there, especially in that final game where the bullpen just collapsed and absolutely got shattered there. But I guess we'll get into all the roster moves first. So first of all, I guess we'll start with Anthony Rizzo, who was working his way back. And Ben Rice, look, he got the opportunity there. He was decent, but he was not doing well. And just look at the batting average, well under 200. Again, he got the opportunity there, but didn't really take the bull by the horns. And, of course, with Anthony Rizzo coming back, you knew, again, if all things were being equal there, that Rizzo would probably get the nod. He's the veteran. He's making about $20 million. Not that he was doing great before he had the arm fracture, but, you have to be hitting over 200, and Ben Rice isn't doing that, so you can understand that. So that was just kind of a straight-up almost swap there. So Rizzo off the IL. And, I guess I want to take one of the few good things to take away from the final game is that it was Rizzo's re-debut for the 2024 season, and he did have 2 hits, go for 2 for 4, raise his batting average to an astounding 228. But again, that's like 30 points better than Ben Rice. So again, Ben Rice got the opportunity, showed us some good stuff there. And again, I think maybe he could be in the 2025 plans as possibly a starter, because I don't think Rizzo's back here next year. So we got a little taste of him. But again, he did not take advantage of the opportunities he's gotten. So probably the chapter's written on him at least for the end of this season. But we'll probably see him next season. So thanks for the little visit Rice, but he's gone. But we got Rizzo back, got his 2 hits there, and let's just see where he goes from here. Again, Rizzo was not having a good season up to the time he fractured his arm, and even with him gone there, it was almost like a blessing in disguise. They figure, hey, good, let him get out of here, let Rice do well, and Rice was looking good there for a couple of weeks there, but it wasn't able to stick, and unfortunately, it looks like he still needs to make some adjustments at the plate there. Again, he had a good eye at the plate, took his walk, so he wasn't like swinging out of his shoes and out of his league there, but still, you can't be hitting under 200 there, and there was enough at bats to really make an evaluation of him, so you're going to say they made the swap there. So Rizzo's back with the Yankees, and unless anything crazy happens with an injury like that, it looks like it's going to be him the rest of the way there, probably into the postseason as well, and that's probably also going to eat into a little time of DJ LeMahieu there, also at first base. So it was getting the benefit of Rice not doing exactly great, where at least gave LeMahieu some more at-bats there, but if Rizzo comes back and, again, at least hits a little bit better than he was before, that's probably also not really good news for DJ. So Ben Rice goes back down. Will Warren, who got cuffed up in yet another game. It seems like when he gives up runs, it gives up like 4 or 5 runs in the same inning. Happened to him again. Yankees fell behind in the Saturday game there. Now, they made a little bit of comeback, so you want to take a little victory lap for that there, but again, you lost the game. And, of course, it had to do with Giancarlo Stanton clearing the bags, hitting a nice shot to center field, about a foot and a half away from being a game-tying grand slam. The Yankees at that point had to settle for a bases-clearing double to bring the score to 6-5 there. Verdugo wasn't able to get Stan in there, and then in the 9th inning, Yankees made it interesting again. Put 2 runners on there. Again, if you want to take a little solace in that, little moral victory from that, had 2 runners on there, but Wells in a big spot. After hitting 2 home runs on the Friday night game, unfortunately strikes out in the situation. The Yankees dropped the middle game 6-5, and as mentioned, the final game there, just get the doors blown off. Nestor Cortez, this got away from him in the 4th inning. Now, overall, you're not happy with the score, but the Yankees haven't had too many games like that. The last one I can remember was when the Orioles came in here and beat the Yankees' brains out. I think they scored like 15 runs. It hasn't happened too much for the Yankees, so I'm not going to go too crazy, but overall, the problem is that the series wins. You should be winning these series. I'm not saying you can sweep every series, but again, a team like the Cardinals at home, the Yankees should be taking 2 out of 3 on this one, not losing 2 out of 3. I know you can't sweep all the time, you can't win every series, but still, the Yankees should have at least take 2 out of 3 on this one. That's what you're kind of more mad about, not the individual score of 14-7. And Nestor Cortez has been good for the Yankees lately, so you give him a little break there. And again, overall, the Yankee bullpen hasn't had too many of these games where everyone just comes in and gets trashed. And some of the new guys they brought up, that would be Scott Efros, who we've been waiting on. As I mentioned, probably the most recent YouTube episode, they were holding on him a little bit more in the minors there. It seemed like his velocity wasn't really where they wanted it to be, not where it was in 2022. He ended up giving a couple of runs in this game, and also called up was Ron Marinaccio, who's been waiting in the wings there. He also wasn't that impressive in this game. His first game back also gave up a couple of runs there. So really, everyone was guilty in this game. Tommy Kahnle as well, Jake Cousins. It was just brutal up and down the lineup. So it was just one of those things you chalk up. If you won 2 out of 3, and that was you wouldn't care as much. But the fact that you lose 2 out of 3, plus you have a clunker like this, it kind of adds a little bit more sting there for him. So Scott Efros up, Ron Marinaccio up, and getting sent down, and thankfully is Will Warren, because his last 3 starts has just been terrible. So they sent him back down, as well as Mana Jeskowitz designated for assignment. And coming up, of course, was Rizzo off the IL, and Marinaccio and Efros in the bullpen there. So hopefully got you caught up on that there. So a little shake and bake, but no Jason Dominguez. Now, hopping around like crazy here, but let's go to Duke Ellis. Now, the page on him is that he's a base stealer, and that's why they got him up here. So he's kind of like, if you remember a couple seasons ago when the Yankees had Tim LoCastro, he was kind of their stolen base, extraordinaire. That's what Ellis is. He doesn't give you much offensively. Now, if you look at his brief time in the majors, as well as his couple of years in the minors, he stole a total of 138 bases there. So this is a guy who's a base stealer, so he's a weapon. So look, it's not a terrible move to bring the guy up here. And again, the Yankees aren't exactly speed demons. They don't exactly steal a ton of bases there. So, maybe they want to toy with something where, like, Yankees, someone like Verdugo works a walk, or Stanton works a walk, is on first base, and kind of like these do with Tim LoCastro. They would put LoCastro in to pinch run for Stanton. The guy would swipe a base and then get himself in the scoring position and would drive the run in, and actually kind of work formulaic. So this is what Duke Ellis is. He's just someone who's going to come off the bench during probably the 8th and 9th inning. If the Yankees are down run, they need to steal a base. This guy seems like the guy for the job. So, all right, this is a try for a few weeks. I don't think it's terrible. Offensively, he gives you nothing. If you don't know him, you haven't seen him yet, So he throws left-handed, he hits left-handed, and another good tool for him, especially in September, he could play all outfield positions. So, let's just see where the Yankees set themselves up with September. You like them to be in a position where they're ahead of the game, where they can start resting some guys. Well, here's a guy who could at least play all positions. Give someone like Judge or Verdugo or Soto, or even if Jason Dominguez is playing regularly, give them a break in the outfield like later in the game, or just give them a day off there. So that's the page on Ellis. He's just here to steal bases. So if you never heard of him, that's Duke Ellis for you. Thanks for joining the team. Other than that, though, Yankees getting to squander. It's not a good weekend at all. Now, that all being said, they still find themselves one game ahead of the Baltimore Orioles. But really, if you just look at the schedule over the past 3 weeks, the Yankees really squandered an opportunity. They could have really put themselves ahead and be a much more comfortable position. But now they're going to probably have to scratch and claw their way through September there, because they really haven't taken the bull by the horns. Now, on the flip side, Baltimore, also the same thing. There's a time when the Yankees were down in the dumps. You would say the last half of June of all July, Baltimore didn't take advantage of the situation. So I guess a little give and take there. But overall, the Yankees right now, 21 games over 500. But, there's a couple of ways you look at this. You say, well, you know what? Maybe it's good that you're fighting and clawing your way through September, because, it keeps you hot, keeps you on your toes, keeps you with the edge, that when you get into the playoffs there, finally, you could be like, all right, you're ready in game mode versus, all right, well, let's say first and second week, you're sitting there, you're high on the hog a little bit, and you're like, all right, well, we're 5-6 games above in the AL East, we could start resting guys, we could take the foot off the pedal a little bit, we could rest up, and then what happens is you get complacent for 2 weeks, and then when it comes to the playoffs, boom, you get hit by a brick wall because all you guys are rested up there. So it is a fine line. So sometimes it's better to be fighting your way through September, but then sometimes you burn out in September because you're fighting to get there, and then when you get there, you're out of gas in October. So we'll see where the team lands there. But at least I can't imagine they at some point don't call up Jason Dominguez, at least sometime during this month there, and then get him some regular bats, as Boone has hinted there. Again, it's a weapon you have there. It would be dumb to squander that. Even though, Verdugo seems like since he's updated the batting gloves, Franklin sent him the new batting gloves without the dye in it, he has been hitting much better lately there, so it seems that that's helping there. But if you want to give me Verdugo versus Jason Dominguez, I want to see Dominguez getting more bats than Verdugo, but let's just get Dominguez up here first there. So, not a good weekend for the Yankees. Friday night started for the win, kind of a comfortable win. Marcus Stroman, who has been struggling a little bit lately, but he's been getting a little bit better, had a decent start there. So, again, that's one of the little hurrahs or moral victories you want to take away from this weekend there. But overall, it's just not good there. Should not be losing 2 out of 3 there. So, we got Rizzo back. He's up here with the team, and it's probably going to be him the rest of the way as they send Ben Rice down. We got, reinforcements down the bullpen with Scott Efros and Marinaccio. So that's that. After this, the Yankees hit the road. We'll go to Texas. Now, Texas is pretty much, they're like a middle of the pack there in the AL West. Pretty much have no shot for the postseason, and there are a few games under 500. Now, of course, as I've said before every series, Yankees should handle business there, but they probably won't there, so we'll check in after that. And I guess also, again, just highlight with Giancarlo Stanton has been hitting better lately over the past week or so. Again, we saw a couple of home runs during the Cleveland series and thereafter. Now, again, I mentioned before that he almost had a grand slam in the second Cardinal game, and it kind of hit like a little bit more than the middle part of the wall there, but and in this finale game kind of got lost in the shuffle there. He also had a home run, so he's up to 24 home runs there. So maybe his bat is heating up a little bit, and Judge has now gone a few games without a home run. What's wrong there? What's wrong with the world? But again, he's going to cool off a little bit there. So, if Stan wants to get hot a little bit just to pick up a little slack of, Soto and Judge not hitting a home run every single game there, that's a good thing. Catch you next episode.